Hello, guys. Welcome to my second chapter. Today I'm going to be talking about becoming a paddle player, a subject also related to follow your dreams, because paddle for me is one of my dreams. So, the idea is to first make you an introduction about how I started with paddle, and then maybe talk about what is like the best way to follow, to what things to do in order to try to be the best player you can, right? So this thing or this chapter, I think, is going to be very good for all those ones that wants to become professional paddle players, kids that they are very interested on starting in paddle, or just people, amateur or good level of players that they want to become better. So maybe from this chapter you are going to take some things that can help you and maybe you can apply in your life and your trainings or whatever. So, how I entered to the paddle world? I remember I was at the age of 19. At that moment, I came back from Colombia, little experience that I made over there. So, about 4 years. That paddle for me, I heard about before, but in my case, on my mind or in my mind, I was having like only football. For me, football was the only sport, my biggest dream. I wanted to become football player. But for things that happened to me, I couldn't achieve that. So, yeah, I was at that moment coming back from Colombia with the idea of studying in the university and also trying to search for a job. And at that moment, my uncle, that he was the owner of a few paddle clubs, he offered me to start working on a paddle club. So, very nice experience. Really, I mean, from that started all this addiction with this sport, but was very nice. First time in my life with 19 years old holding a racket. I was playing like maybe before, sometimes ping pong with my brother, some tennis, but very bad. I don't think that I was good at tennis, not at all. But first time holding a paddle racket. So I remember even the first time that I entered to a paddle court and it was like kind of horrible. I mean, I was like having a lot of fun, but I was like not good at all. Being like before almost a football player, I can say that that helped me a lot, for example, to understand faster the game. Padel is a sport that if you understand tactically the way of playing, you can play very good. Then there are another like options, like for example, some people they have the background of tennis, so as soon as they enter to a paddle court, some shots for them are very easy. Like for example, simple forehand, backhand, volleys. Of course, maybe with glasses, they are going to struggle a little bit more, but technically, maybe or maybe not, for sure, they were or they are much better than me at that moment coming from the field of football, right? So my idea was clear. As many people I know, they get like involved to paddle too much. As soon as they start playing, they said, "Oh, I want to play paddle all the days. I want to become the best player I can." So for me it was the same. But I was like, I should be honest to me at that moment, being older. I mean, I was young, but older to start playing paddle. I should be honest to myself how much I could reach. But still, I was having that dream. I was having the dream of becoming a paddle player. And I was like starting a difficult competition against, for example, at that moment, I remember, and even still now, nowadays, a lot of kids, they are starting paddle very early. Like, for example, at the age of 5, 6, 7, I don't know. So imagine the competition. Me holding the racket first time with 19 years old, it was like, oof, it's going to be tough. But anyway, I decided, I started. At that moment when I thought about and I was analyzing, I remember I was playing on the sixth category of Argentina. In Argentina, we have 8 categories, and even the first one that I can consider like first division, and we can divide it into amateur and even professional, right? Because on first division also there is like a long way until you reach, for example, what we consider top level, maybe first ranking in the world of Premier Padel, right? So nothing. I sit with myself, I analyze, and I should made like at that moment a lot of things to try to achieve this. So the second part, this was like my introduction about how I decided to start playing paddle. So how I did it or how I become a paddle player, and this is the thing that I want to talk about for you guys. Becoming a paddle player, it doesn't matter the age. Of course, there are some limits. For example, in my case, I was honest to myself. Starting older, maybe it was going to be very difficult to be the number one of the world because there were a lot of young players at that moment that they were playing paddle for how much time. So it was difficult, really. But I said, okay, let's try my best. Let's see how it goes. And I will try to be the best player I can. Of course, I want to be professional. I want to live with paddle. I want to be a player, but then there are going to appear like some things that let's see how it goes. And it was like that, yes. So becoming a paddle player, you should understand a lot of things. First of all, there is a process. There is a process that you should follow, depending any like every player or every person is going to have their own like characteristics or their own like backgrounds or the age or whatever. So first of all, you should sit with yourself, or if you are like with, I don't know, with your family or a friend or whatever, be honest to yourself. This is the first thing. You need to be autocritic with yourself, where you are, where you want to go long term. Of course, should be like middle term objectives also and short objectives, right? So in my case was, okay, the first thing is I will try to be professional player from the first moment without being. What does it mean? I should like try to go bed early. I should try to start eating well. I should train every day. I should take care about my physical trainings. I mean, because I was trying to be a football player, I was having all those things inside of me. But now, okay, I should do it with a new sport. Also, for example, it's very important if you are training with one coach, trust your coach. It's very important because if you are just starting at the beginning, maybe a lot of people will try to tell you like a lot of things. Maybe you should like make a good analysis before like deciding to train with any coach. I mean, again, depends because maybe you are just a starter and you don't know nothing about paddle. So anyway, if you go and play with friends or any coach is going to be good. But as soon as you get involved, right, and you know more about this sport, okay, you should analyze a little bit better. Maybe the style of the coach, or maybe some, if you are surrounded with good people, I mean, with good players that they have more experience, maybe they can tell you, I recommend you this coach or this one. Then even you can be training with one coach and also yourself, you can say to yourself, let's try another coach. I want to have different experiences. Be careful. Don't mix your head. This is very important because maybe you try one, and it's all different. And then you have a salad inside of your head and it's difficult. But it's good. It's good to have a lot of like information. If you are smarter to take that information. Also, another thing, be careful. A lot of people, they will start talking to you, giving things like, be careful to who you hear, because a lot of people, maybe they will try to give to you their best. Like maybe the information they have, they think is the best, but maybe you are in another process. So maybe you mix something. So be careful with this. But anyway, apart from the lesson, from the coaches, that's one thing. Another thing, lifestyle. If you want to be a professional player or trying to be your best player, you should take care about yourself. Padel is becoming very like professional. Even in the professional level, all the players are becoming more and more professional. They take care about their shape. They are analyzing everything. They are watching like their matches. They have coaches all the time. Their physical trainer traveling with them to all the tournaments. Some of them, they have psychologists. In my case, I love it. I love to make therapy. It's very good. They have nutritionists. So you should like always think like trying to be, let's see the conditions that you have. Maybe you can afford some things, maybe not. In my case, at that moment, I was not having, like, for example, the economic, like, solve, the economy solve to do all these things. So for me, it was a little bit harder because I started like to be a coach. I make like the coaching course. I was working in this paddle club. I was training. I was giving lessons. I was traveling all the weekends for all the tournaments. So for me, the path wasn't that easy, but of course, I was enjoying every day. I was very happy for what I was doing. So it's very important for you to enjoy the process, understand there is a process. You should be honest to yourself. You should feel inside of you that you are giving your best. Don't try to search, guys, for excuses. Oh, my partner, or I don't like this, or the conditions, or today. Of course, we are not robots. Some days we are not going to be in our best mood, but always try to give your best, because as a lot of professional players, athletes, or of other sports, they say, on the trainings you get used to, it's like on the trainings you are really building the professional that you want to be, or the player that you want to be, and then on the tournaments you go and you pick up the medals, right? So that's very important, guys. Very important for me at that moment was to do all these things. So for you, in the conditions that you are, in the situation that you are, all of us, we are different, of course, but be honest with yourself, analyze yourself, try to see what is the best that you can do, what you can afford, and give always your best and trust the process. If you give your best, you trust the process, and of course you enjoy, because if you suffer, for sure it's going to be very difficult. No, you need to enjoy. All the things are going to be smooth, and then it's time, guys. It's time. Nobody can tell you you will reach faster. This is, we never know. A lot of things can happen in our life. We never know what will happen. But my recommendation, if you want to learn about this sport, give your best, trust the process, understand what is your situation, and be autocritic with yourself. And as my Arab friend says, halas. This is for me the most important things about trying to give your best and trying to be the best player as you can. Of course, maybe you that you are hearing me, maybe you have another point of view. I will be very happy if you share that to me. But in my case, that was my process, or my step by step, to try to be the best player I could, and still I'm on that process. Still a long way to do. So that's all, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it, and see you on the next chapter. Bye, guys.